Okay, hopefully this is working. Uh, Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just doing a real quick episode tonight. I want to both talk about something very exciting that is coming up and a particular TV show that you might guess from the title. Just bear with me while I share links. But is it working? Hon, can you hear me? Again, bear with me, everyone. Okay, cool. So it's working. I'll be here back in 1 second. I just have to post the link one more place, and then we'll get started. Um, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is, as always, your host, Christian demonologist Kevin Mears, and I'm here to talk about a TV show that I think everybody should be aware of. Hazbin Hotel. It's about to start its second season on Amazon, and this show is goes straight to hell. I mean, quite literally, because it's a show that takes place in hell. Now, some people who are listening to me speak, who haven't seen me speak before or don't know me, are probably thinking, "Oh no, it's another Christian who believes in demons who's going to talk about how evil the show is." And if you know me at all or watch any other video on this channel, that idea will probably have you chuckling because I'm not that kind of Christian. Um, yes, I am a Christian. I deliberately misstated my name before. I go by Samantha Mears these days because I am transgender, and I actually really like the show Has Been a Hotel. But before I talk any more about that, I have some super exciting news to share with everybody. Something this channel has been on the air for 10 years. And in the 10 years it's been here, there have been two people I've always wanted to have on. One was Patrick Thomas, who's now a very good friend of mine and I've had on a number of times. And then the other one is one of my favorite authors, a guy by the name of Jim Butcher, the author of the Dresden Files. Um, it is one of the best research series I've ever read in terms of paranormal and mythology and things like that. It's something else I could say of Pat's work as well, is that they did their homework, and it's one thing I love about it. At any rate, I am very excited to share with you all that I have confirmed a booking that on November 30th, which is Sunday, our usual day, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have Jim Butcher on the show. I've been looking forward to trying to do this and looking forward to this for years. I'm super excited. Brian's super excited. It should be a really good time. Make sure to check it out. And of course, we'll stay up forever, like all the other videos we do. Now, for those of you who are wondering, I apologize for the fact that we haven't been on much lately. Things have been a little hectic, personal stuff, health reasons, things like that. We're gonna try to get more content out to you, but particularly with the new season of Has Been about to start, I wanted to do an episode to talk about it and share my thoughts because I'm sure there are plenty of Christians out there that hate it just because it's about hell. And I, like I said, I'll be honest, when I first saw the pilot years ago when it first hit YouTube, I liked it. I thought it looked great. I was curious to see what happened. When I saw the first Amazon episode, I really didn't like it. I'm like, oh no, this went in the right direction. I don't support. I don't want to watch anymore. That's the end of that. Obviously, my fans know me. Those of you who don't, hi. Um, but I'm never someone to tell people not to watch something unless it's really, really egregious. Um, so I didn't even talk too much to people in real life let alone on the stream, about my opinion on the show because it wasn't for me. It wasn't to my taste. I wasn't going to badmouth it because other people have other tastes, and that's cool too. But finally, my fiance's Serenity M, who shows up is in chat at the moment, has been a regular part of the show since the beginning, convinced me to give it another try. And watching a couple more episodes put the first episode in better perspective. And I went, you know what? No, I like the show. I like where it's going. I like the ideas that it's exploring. Obviously, this is not a traditionally Christian show. In most mainstream Christian theology, you die, you're judged, you go to heaven or you go to hell, and that's it for all of eternity. There is no redemption in hell to most Christians, where this show actively explores the idea of, well, what if a soul could be redeemed? Hell has become, real quick concept, because I don't want to get too detailed, because you really should go watch it. It's worth a watch. The overall concept of the show is that an army of angels led by Adam, as in the first human being, comes down to hell once a year, kills a whole bunch of demons, and goes away. Because heaven has become concerned about hell and its population issues. On the other hand, we have Charlie Morningstar, the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith, who has gotten this idea with her girlfriend Vaggie that they're going to start a hotel to show people sinners, which is what they call, there are sinners and winners in this universe. You go to heaven, you're a winner, or what most Christians would traditionally call a saint. If you go to hell, you're a sinner. So they're going to redeem sinners. So they're going to show them a path to go to heaven. Souls start going to heaven. Everybody wins. They don't have to start doing they can stop doing the mass exterminations. So she started this hotel. We have a cast of characters. We have Angel Dust, who is, from what we know from backstory, he was a mobster in New York. He has been condemned to hell. He is a male prostitute with definitely a fluid gender identity, a drug addict, and he works for a porn demon, essentially. And the intensely abusive relationship he has with Valentino, which is the demon he made the deal with, is a big focus of the series. And the fact that Angel is an imperfect guy trying to become a better person, but he doesn't think he can do it. You have Husker, who is a former major lord of hell who had lots of souls connected to him, but he has fallen from grace and he is working as a bartender in the hotel. Particularly, he works for one of the major figures in the show, which is Alistair. Oh, the colors and things always made me think there was at least a bit of fluidity in there, or at least feminine. My mistake. Serenity correcting me, saying that Angel Dust is just this. He just likes puffing his chest fluff. Fair enough. But Alistair is the radio demon. He was a serial killer in New Orleans in his life, a radio personality. When he went to hell, he became the most powerful demon lord they'd seen in hundreds of years, owns tons of souls, utterly terrifying. What I found really interesting here, because it's something I had wondered about before, is using the name Alistair for a demon, because I don't know every demon name out there, and Supernatural also had a demon named Alistair. So I looked it up, and actually, there is a demon in Christian folklore named Alistair who's infamously very fond of torture and very sadistic. Alistair's a very interesting figure in that he made a deal with someone who it is made deliberately vague in the show. Probably going to start seeing signs of it in season 2. There's supposedly leaks about who it is, and he's at the hotel as part of a greater scheme on his part to get out of his deal. It seems like, although again, seems like there's implications. He's starting to see at least the potential of the hotel, where he starts out treating it like the whole thing's just a joke to him. We'll have to see. There's Serpentius, who is a lovable dork, of a demon who thinks he is a very powerful and dangerous lord of hell, and he's mostly a lovable dork. He spends a lot of time being comic relief. There is, of course, Charlie Morningstar, who is the endless, eternally optimistic daughter of Lucifer, who's determined to save her people. And Vagi, who is her bodyguard and girlfriend. Um, and okay, I'm going to get into spoilers from this point. If you haven't seen the show, go watch it, come back. But turns out eventually Vagi's an angel who was one of the exorcists, which are specifically humans who have been turned into angels and are now led by Adam to come down and kill demonic souls. Um, she couldn't bring herself to kill a demonic child. In this universe, there are both Hellborn, which are demons that were born in hell, and there are the sinners that are fallen or humans. Um, there's a lot of question there if there are fallen angels beyond Lucifer, who's explicitly a fallen seraphim. Um, I'm inclined to think there are, because, well, this show does not spend a lot of time on Judeo-Christian demonology and folklore, which is fine. That's not what it's trying to do. It does. Its sister show, Hazbin Hotel, or not Hazbin Hotel, Health Boss, is actually really quite good, and has set prominent figures, which are six the overlords of hell that are associated with the seven deadly sins, which are based on traditional sources like Bin's classification of demons that lay out which demons are associated with each of the seven deadly sins, um, along with having both Lucifer, who never shows up in Hell Boss because of rights issues with what's been done with Hell Boss so far was all done on YouTube, whereas has been on Amazon. That's changing. So, and apparently the creator of Izzy Pop wants to bring all seven of the deadly sins together. But what's interesting about that is, well, they reference a scene where you see a box in a courtroom in Hell of a Boss with six of the seven deadly sins sitting in it. Oh, five of the six. One, the Satan is the judge of the court, um, and Lucifer is missing. But they do the idea that you find in some Christian tradition that Satan and Lucifer are two different beings. Satan being associated with wrath, Lucifer's being associated with pride. But really, to get back on topic, the main point of the show's exploring is, can a soul in hell be redeemed? And something that people even less think about, but I've seen a lot of atheists talking about recently, and I think it's a really interesting philosophical point. Can a soul in do souls in heaven have free will? Can a soul in heaven do something wicked enough to be damned? There's a line in one of the penultimate episode, in the song of the penultimate episode, that if hell is forever, heaven must be a lie. Why? Because you see these angels in heaven doing really awful things, which is the original reason why I didn't like it. Is, I mean, the idea of dealing with redemption in hell, I like. It's interesting. I'm a little tired of seeing heaven turned into just as bad as hell, or arguably in this case worse, which is what originally drove me away from the plot. Until I started to realize that this dichotomy and this question it raises: can a soul be in hell find salvation? For that matter, can a soul in heaven find damnation? Because Adam, the leader of the exorcists, the head of the angels that go down to kill the demons, he's not a nice man. He is the definition of toxic masculinity. You know, he's misogynistic. He is egotistical. He's prideful. But he's in heaven. And it raises this question of, if you have these souls in hell that were condemned to hell, I mean, Angel wasn't the worst, most monstrous of monsters you can imagine, but he did go to, I mean, he was a drug dealer. He was part of the mafia. He went to hell for reasons. But can he become a better person? And if he does become a better person, does he still deserve to be in hell? And particularly, there's this question that people talk about constantly: the problem of evil. Of, why does a good God allow evil things to happen to people? And the question that the often counter to that argument is the question of free will. People get to choose to be good or evil, and people often choose evil. Well, that raises the question then: could God have created a universe with free will and without evil? And a lot of people would say no, because you also need suffering to be able to appreciate beauty and joy. But that also raises the question: Do souls in heaven have free will then? If you have to have free will to be able to love God, which most Christians would say, that would imply that a soul in heaven has to have free will. But if a soul in heaven has free will, it includes the ability to do evil, and we know beings in heaven can do evil. We're able to do evil at least once. That's how we got a Lucifer. So, so it becomes a question: Can they fall? Can they fall? Can there be future falls from grace? And if there can't be, what does that say about free will in heaven? Are we just mindless automatons? In which case, why didn't he do that to begin with on Earth? Or the argument of why didn't he just create the people he knew, being all knowing, he knows what everyone's going to do. He just creates the ones he knows are only ever going to make the morally right choice. And that's kind of the things that show's getting into. It's not the only themes. It also deals a lot with romantic relationships. From what I understand, and I didn't hear this directly from Busy Pop, but I've heard it from people talking about interviews with her that this show is particularly supposed to be highlighting positive female-female relationships because Vaggie and Charlie have a very cute romantic relationship. Um, but whereas Hello Boss is male-male relationships, um, and that's a good thing. I mean, I'm not saying in either case it's wrong. Again, I'm pretty well much on the record as being pro-LGBT, being in that myself. Um, but again, it's a good show. It's a lot of fun. It is very obviously, and they put a disclaimer at the beginning. The only negative thing I'll say about it is it's clearly not for children. As bright and colorful as it is. But again, they don't claim to be for children. I don't think there's anything to hold against them. So if you got kids, I would recommend watching it as a parent when they've gone to bed. If they should watch it at some point and what age that would be appropriate, I think is something a parent should decide. I would never tell you that. But I think it's definitely, if you're going to let an older teenager watch something like this, watch it yourself and make your own decision. You know your kid better than I do. Um, but I think that's going to about wrap it up. Like I said, it's a really good show. I plan on doing some more episodes to talk about the new season and see where things go. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And so that'll do it for tonight, folks. We're going to try to be back on Sunday at 8 p.m. And remember, November 30th, we're going to have Jim Butcher on the show, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you don't know Jim's work, I highly, 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 highly recommend checking out the Dresden Files. There's 16 books with a planned 23 plus in the entire series. I would suggest, Jim, as I understand it, suggests starting with the third or fourth book. Because like any new author, the first two books he feels aren't great. I personally would suggest read them. Read like the first three books. Read at least the first two books, if not the first three books, before you give up on the series. Because it takes some time to get there, but once it gets there, it's really worth it. I like them all. I think the first book's flawed, but I think it's still a really good book and worth the read. But that's just me. That's it for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And remember, if you like what we're doing, if you want to support us, like, comment, subscribe, or consider donating to Patreon. Link will be in the description below. Have a good night, and God bless.